What's the refund policy?
Okay, so that was really funny. I just got back from the Petco store. I just left it, and the sales rep was like, "What are you using this for?" I was like, "A lizard," which isn't true, but I just was too embarrassed to even say I'm using it for a snake. But let's see. I have a feeling that if they still sell these things, that I could find a use for it. But we're gonna put it through some tests first before I put an animal anywhere near it. And I don't think I'll ever put an animal near it. But yeah, well, let's just see if a heat rock can actually be used. All right, let's get this bad boy open. Let's look at this. So, rock heater. What is a rock heater? A heated safety stone, in quotes, which is crazy, which helps your reptiles safely digest their meals. Very important. Well, that's true. Used with pythons, boas, king snakes, rat snakes, gopher snakes, bearded dragons, monitor lizards, tegu lizards, uromastic lizards. This is interesting too up here. Ideal for many medium-sized species of snakes and lizards. It's UL listed, so that's good. Let's see. I want to see how many watts this is. So, Repticare. Zoomed is a good brand, so I'm kind of surprised, honestly, by this. But let's see. So no wattage size there. Again, just standard size. It's the same, just upside down, standard size. So let's see what it says. Yeah, nowhere on this am I seeing anything about controlling temperatures. There's low wattage up there with UL rating for safety, but that just means the electrical has been tested. Doesn't mean anything about reptile safety. Yeah, nowhere on here does it say the actual wattage of this device. So this will be interesting. We'll see if it says it on the, if there's a leaflet on the inside or anything like that. I want to open this thing. There we go. Single-sided, it does it there too. Here we go. Nope, there is no literature on the inside. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Not waterproof, do not immerse in water, for indoor use only. The Repticare rock heater is designed to facilitate digestion in reptiles, but is not to be used as a primary heat source for any tropical or desert species of reptile. Don't wrap it in a towel. Okay, so these are interesting. So these are the suggestions it gives. Don't wrap your rock heater in a towel. Don't bury or cover your rock heater in anything. Encapsulating the rock heater will cause the surface temperature to escalate to an unsafe level, possibly burning your animal. Don't do this. Well, the crazy thing about that is the thing that encapsulates the rock heater is often the snake. Wait, that's number 6. I opened it up wrong. Let's go to number 1. Not waterproof, do not immerse in water, for indoor use only. This rock heater is designed to facilitate digestion in reptiles, but not to be used as a primary heat source for any tropical or desert species of reptile. These are called common sense instructions. If they're common sense instructions, you don't have to print them, but just call them instructions, Zoomed. That's a little mean. Do not use for amphibians. Okay, yeah, I agree. Or probably reptiles by the end of this, but let's see. Use a thermometer to monitor the temperature of your enclosure. Add a primary heat source, see number 3, if your animal won't leave its rock heater. Tropical reptiles need a minimum of 80 degrees Fahrenheit. A reptile that won't leave its rock heater means that your terrarium is too cold. Oh, very interesting little tidbit there. Look for other products. So again, we cover that. Don't wrap it. Don't put your rock heater directly under or over another heat source. The additional heat from a primary heat source will cause the surface of the rock heater to overheat. This could result in burns to your reptile. So don't use it as a primary heat source, and also don't put it underneath a primary heat source. So put it over there on the cool side of the tank. Doesn't make sense. Okay, always have top ventilation. Never completely cover the top of your terrarium with a towel, etc. Heat rises must have a way to escape your terrarium. Otherwise, the heat buildup could crack the terrarium glass, kill your animals, or result in a possible fire. Well, that's fun. Power cord. Don't cut the cord. Yeah, that makes sense. Don't lift the rock heater by its power cord. Route and arrange the power cord away. So, common cord safety. Rock heaters designed for glass terrariums only. Use in any other type of terrarium, including but not limited to wood or plastic terrariums or cages, voids warranty. I'm sure it'll melt them. Buy the right product. If you live in a warm area like Phoenix, Arizona, we recommend that you purchase the ReptiTemp rheostat to use with your rock heater. This allows you to control the surface temperature of the rock heater. Well, there we go. Buy the right product. So if you live in a warm area like Phoenix, Arizona, because that's the only warm place, then you should buy a rheostat. But the reality is most people's houses are the same temp, whether they're in Phoenix, Arizona, or London. So that's silly to me. But that's great. So right there, it says to dim it. So that's the secret. 12, cleaning. 13, iguana, boa, and python users. ZooMed strongly recommends the use of ReptiTemp rheostat with these species, as it allows you the ability to adjust the surface temperature of the rock heater. Well, those are some exciting words of caution, so I better add something to keep that off the plastic. Okay, so we are about 5, maybe 7 minutes in. Let's check it right here. Okay, so temps rising. We got 78, 81 up there, 78, 76, 77, 74 down there, still low. Check my pan. Okay. So 80 minutes, 80 degrees, 81 at the highest, and we're just about 7 minutes in. So we'll keep checking. But, I mean, I can't sit here and wait all day. I'm going to do something fun. So instead of waiting here and doing nothing, let's go play with dry ice. Yep. They tried to keep the dry ice from me by putting it in a separate bag.
Oh, nice try.
And it's all in one piece. That could be from anyone.
Hey. What?
Sorry. Where was I? All right, so we're about 30 minutes in. Check it out. So it looks like we're reading high temps of there we go, 94, 95, 96. Okay, 97 degrees right now. So we're about 30 minutes in. Okay, so we are 30 minutes in, and right now we're getting at... Oh, I just missed it, but we were at 97 degrees there at the top, but 95, 97 degrees right up there around the top. So that's still, I could just sort of feel warmth to it. It's not hot yet. Totally easy, 30 minutes in. Makes sense. This is a pretty heavy rock. It doesn't look like it's made of stone or anything, but it sure is as heavy as one. So we'll come back to that. We'll continue to let it heat up and see how hot it's actually going to get. But this is really slow and boring. So we're an hour in, and already we got temps at 101 degrees. So now we're getting to the point where a lot of reptiles, especially your tropical reptiles, it's getting too hot for them. Temps of 102 are fatal to a lot of reptiles. And yeah, I can still touch it. It's warm. I wouldn't want to sit on this all day, but it's actually kind of nice in a cool room. It feels good, and the difference is it's not going to heat my internal body temperature up to 101 degrees, whereas an ectothermic animal obviously is going to take on that heat. Might be good for a cat though. I could see them wanting to sit on it. So what do you do with something like this? It's not the coolest product there is. So it tells you not to use it underneath the heat lamp. Don't use it as the sole source of heat. As I put my hand under here, I can feel it's hotter underneath as it is on top. But not by a lot. As it is, it only got to be about 107 degrees after a little over 2.5 hours. So that's not going to kill too many things, and they're going to move off of it. But you can severely cause some issues with some snakes and things like that are going to sit on it and not move off. Most of your geckos and things like that are going to be way too hot for that. So you can't use it for them at all. Excuse me, I got a sore throat. I'd like to thank our sponsor, LaCroix. It's like if soda had a mute button. Yeah, I don't know. The heat rock or rock heater from ZoomEd, it's not a super awesome product. It says you can't use it under a heat element because it'll get too hot. And frankly, if you're putting it on the cold side, it doesn't make sense to have a basking surface if you've already got a hot surface. But it says not to use it as the sole heating element either. So not only is it really impractical, the only safe way to use it is to follow the recommendation and put it on a dimmer. It doesn't come with a dimmer. You have to buy that separate. But it doesn't say that really anywhere on the box or anything like that. You have to open up the package to find that out. Kind of deceptive marketing if you ask me. I've been holding it. It's been plugged in this whole time. It's really not that difficult to touch and handle. So fears of it being, this ridiculously hot, crazy output thing just aren't warranted. What happens though is a thing called thermal blocking when the reptiles will sit on it and the heat has nowhere to go, and it kind of circulates and creates this sort of feedback loop with the heat element, and it just sort of heats out of control, really, really at an exponential rate. So there is a danger to something is sat upon it, which, guess what? That's its intended purpose. So it just doesn't make sense to me. The craziest thing about it was the direction for if the crazy thing about it to me was the direction that says if your reptile is using this too much, you might need to add another heat source. So who knows what the purpose of this is. It's no surprise that you find it in the pet stores right next to the colored lamps, which was, I thought, pretty rich. Anyways, don't waste your money on this. I hope if you're a new keeper or anything, you don't get suckered into thinking this is cool. Because honestly, it looks cool, and it would be cooler if they just took out the plug and they just said reptile safe basking rock. If you put something like this underneath, honestly, that's the best way to use it, is if you rip this out entirely and just use this super dope, because it's a heavy rock, use that as a basking platform. Perfect. That's its best use. But putting the heat element inside is not a great idea unless you put it on a thermostat, and then it's really not doing it. So maybe if you set it off to the side of the basking area, if you have a big cage, something like this, if the basking area is directly behind me, maybe something up here, like on the shelf, you might put it in that area, controlled by a rheostat to keep it to, or a dimmer switch to keep it to about 85 degrees or so. You could do that, but what's the point? Like a rock that you find on the street will do just as good near the heat element. So don't waste your time doing that. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this special, fun, exciting episode about the heat rock. It's honestly the craziest purchase you can make at a reptile store, so don't do it. I'm surprised they even still sell them. I was anticipating there to be like some upgrade in technology that I just wasn't aware of, and they couldn't possibly be the same heat rocks that I've seen in stores for the last 25 years. But they are. I think the temperature is a little bit cooler. It never tells you how many wattage it is, how many watts it is, but it didn't get crazy hot. It only got up to about 107, really at the hottest, and that's not the crazy deadly temperatures that it used to be of days past, but it's still too hot for the majority of snakes. So be careful with that product. It's certainly not something I can recommend. Plus the cord it's not very long, and that thick power cord has to be inside of a tank. So again, I just don't see the purpose of something like this. I've got the receipt in my car. I'm gonna return it. Hey, so I'm just getting in my car. I'm gonna go back to the store and return that heat rock, because obviously, and I just realized this is a couple days later, probably the most practical use for that rock is if you have a pet bearded dragon and you like to let it roam around outside its enclosure and feed it and stuff and keep it out all day. That's a great way to provide heat without having to shove your bearded dragon back into his cage just to digest a few mealworms or veggies if he's out playing with you. So if that's what you do, great. I could see that, or any other sort of diurnal animal, something that likes those warm temps, but don't use it with any tropical animals. I would say you could put it on a rheostat and use it for tropical animals, but what's the point? You can't use it under a heat element anyways, and you're not going to put it on top of a heating pad. So it's like, don't put it on the cold side. That's crazy. Don't put a hot object on the cold side, then it's no longer the cold side. So yeah, if you got a free roaming bearded dragon, or you want to put it out for your cat to sit on, you could use a heat rock for those two things. But just using it in a cage for any other snake or any other animal doesn't make any sense to me. You should already be heating your cage, and you can't use that as a primary heat element, or use it on the hot side. So makes no sense. I think it's one of the craziest products, and it's crazy that it's still around. Do yourselves a favor, don't buy it. Zoom Ed, honestly, you should stop making it. It really needs to just go in the trash. That's kind of the best thing for it, especially at $35. It's way overpriced for how useless it is. So anyways, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, honestly, you should just either be my best friend or subscribe to us on Patreon like these good people have. It's cheap. It's only $1 a month if you want to join in that way, and I will chat with you and send you early videos and that sort of thing too. So it's fun. Plus, you might get to see a few extra fun behind the scenes stuff. So anyways, guys, again, thanks so much for checking it out. Thanks for getting this far in the video. Be good to yourselves. Bye.